The hostess with the leastess.
We're recording. I am Leon.
5 seconds.
This
Next
is
week,
Chris P, and we are default T. Tangent. And this is episode 10.
Quick question. What's the background?
Background. I'm glad you asked. That is the first thing I want to talk about today. Before we get to that, though, quick housekeeping. First of all, if you are being, if you're taking the time to watch, thank you very much. But also, if you could just take a brief moment to go down and subscribe and like, that would be very much appreciated. You can even keep listening to us while you do it. So that would be great. Very much appreciated. That would help us a lot, help with the algorithm, help more people see us. Because that's what we want. Also, again, no corrections, I don't believe. Any corrections from last week? Anything that we got wrong that we've been told about?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Mate, as soon as you click end record, I'm gone. I don't remember anything from what we've spoken about. So
okay. No, but as far as there's been no comments, we've had no letters in the post. We've had no emails, we've had no text, we've had no anything.
No feedback.
We had no feedback. So we can only assume that we got everything right as usual. Okay, good. And then without further ado, we've got a packed show. It's packed.
We have. First off, the news this week.
Yes.
There's 3 things. I'm sure there's 4, but we'll get to we'll see what happens. First one is there's been a massive rumored leak on GTA 6 on what it's going to be. You've just lit up.
Yeah, because I'm getting some stuff ready for when I'm going to show the screen.
So massive leak on Grand Theft Auto 6 with a suggested release date of October 23.
I know nothing about this. What the hell? GTA 6 leaks.
Yeah, rumored leaks. So release 2023 October. So around the same time they did that. That would make it 10 years. It was really 5 was October 2013. You know what? I mean, I have no idea whether these have got any kind of grounds for officialness, but that sounds interesting. Possibly you'll play 3 different periods. It starts in the Miami in the 70s, and then it ends up in this day and age. I'm not a big fan of that. Apparently, it's going to play like Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah. Chapters. Okay. Yeah, it works for me. That's fine. That's great.
I don't like that.
Why don't you like that?
Well, say you really love the portion of the 70s, and then you go past that, and there's no way back to it.
Oh, of course there'd be a way back. You don't think
there's no implement Red Dead Redemption 2. You can't go back to the snowy period where everything was a blanket of snow.
You can, because that's an area on the map.
There's definitely a game I'm thinking of which restricts your... I can't think what it is. Anyway, so yeah, that's probably the biggest news.
I can already see the roadmap now. I can already see the roadmap. Like we've had 3 protagonists, which is one thing in the previous game, but now we've got 3 eras, maybe, right? You think they're not going to capitalize on 3 separate online modes? Like GTA 70s online, GTA 80s online, GTA 90s online, or it just be online, pick your period. I guarantee if they are utilizing, and it won't even be pick your period, because it'd be like, oh, San Francisco is in the 70s, always, maybe. I'm just hypothetically picking places. LA will always be in the 80s, and New York, Liberty City will always be in the 90s, if they're doing 3 periods. So whenever you go to that city, you are going to that time period, or something to that effect. Easy.
I kind of like that. From the leak I read, it was said maybe Vice City, so Miami, Vice City.
Yeah, mate, I can already see it now. It'd be Vice City in the 80s. It'd be San Andreas or maybe
Liberty City.
No, yeah, it'd be Liberty City in the 90s, and then we'll get San Andreas in the north.
I don't know, because we've just done San Andreas, haven't we? So I think they'll skip San Andreas for this year, or this iteration.
Probably, yeah. They probably will.
So yeah, that's the big news. The other 2 things, the other ones are completely non-gaming related. They're just fucking not funny, but funny. well, one's definitely funny, one's not so funny. There's a YouTube prankster in America got shot and killed because he pranked somebody with a knife pretending to rob them. He's a fucking tool.
And what more do we know on that story? What's happening to the
Literally, I've not looked into it, but some bloke was pranking people with a knife, saying he was mugging them. It's America, of course, so somebody pulled out a gun and shot him.
Well,
He's died.
I want to know more. That's sloppy journalism there, Chris. That's very.
I'm not a journalist.
Some bloke.
I'm just speaking about things that are interesting.
In this moment of time, for our news section, you are a journalist, my friend. And even if you do not consider yourself a journalist, you have a journalistic integrity to uphold. And I want to update on this next week, please. And I'm sure our audience do too. We want to know names. We want to know what happened, how it happened, what's this guy done in the past? Who am I Googling? Some bloke? Come on, Chris. That's sloppy news.
Timothy Wilkes, a 20-year-old man from America, has sadly been shot whilst pranking somebody with a knife.
Well, we'll update on this either through the show or next episode, because this needs to be delved into, opened up. And I think this could be the next big thing on the news.
The next one is on a similar vein, but no one dies. It's equally hilarious. Have you seen the hashtag Gorilla Girl?
No.
Okay, this fucking genius in America, right? So she's styling her hair. She's doing it all.
I've heard of this. Yeah, I've not seen the hashtag. Keep going. Sorry.
And she runs out of her got-to-be glue hairspray. So she fucking uses Gorilla Glue to spray her hair. And I think you can probably infer from the Gorilla Glue. Just type in Gorilla Girl.
I put that in, and then and everyone saw me spell gorilla wrong. Ha!
Yes, they did. So type. Get rid of
Google it. You got Google to. I don't even try and spell things correctly anymore.
There she is. Metro, third one down.
Okay, Metro.
So yeah, basically, she put Gorilla Glue in her hair as a substitute for a hairstyling glue, and it got stuck because she used glue, as anyone would expect. Apparently, she's now had it cut off. Yes, clearly she's had it cut off.
And look how flat that is to the head, man. Oh.
Yeah, apparently it was like that for about 4 weeks.
Hey,
but now...
You may have. I don't want notifications. No. Oh, look at these adverts. Oh, corrupting my soul. Jesus. Did you see that?
Yeah, that's why the internet sucks. But the tip of the ice, not the tip of the iceberg, the cherry on the cake is she's now looking into suing Gorilla Glue because it doesn't state on the product not to be used on hair. Which I saw this hilarious comment which said, does that mean I can use cement as a toothpaste and then sue them because it doesn't specifically state I'm not meant to use it as toothpaste? So
maybe she'll win. Maybe she will win.
No, she won't.
You never know. Crazy.
I know America has this terrible reputation, but that's not going to happen.
I'm sure stranger things have happened.
That's so fucking stupid, though.
Yeah, it's pretty dumb. It's pretty dumb. It's pretty dumb.
It doesn't. I mean, for one, I didn't even know Gorilla Glue did a spray. I didn't think glue could be used as a spray, but it kind of makes sense.
I bet there is some spray that is.
It's America. They've got like cheese in a can, haven't they?
Everything is in a can.
Like I say, maybe America's just a place of canning things.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was better.
That's the news.
That's much better reporting. Even though it was kind of like, I just felt that was better reported than the original story, Chris. So
well, I'll bear that in mind, Mr. Editor-in-Chief.
Thank you. We're moving in the right direction, and I might as well bring it up because the gorilla, is that the official spelling of gorilla? Because the correction for gorilla I got, and then the
guerrilla warfare
spell is all spelled very differently. So I mean, we're ripe for corrections here, people. Don't hold back. Go in the comments now.
I can correct you.
No, it's not fun that way. Let's let interaction. Let's let people correct us. Let's move on because let's keep some mystique. Let's keep some.
Your
mystique.
T-shirt looks like Yoda.
No, it's actually Broly. Second time wearing this on the cast.
Oh wow! I think this is my 4th in a row wearing a dressing gown.
Keep the roll going on a winning streak. So you started off the podcast asking me what this picture was in the background. This picture is concept art of one of the bosses from Dark Souls, Quelaag, something like that. Quelaag, and I don't know. So I'm going to talk about Dark Souls, right? Because I feel after Monster Hunter, that my plan, my roadmap of my head was to kind of direct Chris down the route, direct him in the direction on a route to Dark Souls, because there's a lot of similarities. There are 3 games that I kind of, when I discovered them around the similar time, they always kind of they take things from the other one, maybe not on purpose, but they do from my perception. The games are Dark Souls, Dragon's Dogma, and Monster Hunter, right? The first game of those 3 I ever played was Dragon's Dogma, which is a sick game, which I will go on about at some point in the future. But it's a single player game, and there's not really a great benefit in me trying to get other people playing that game, not to me at least, anyway.
Yeah.
Although it's a phenomenal game, and I highly recommend Dragon's Dogma to anybody. It was I bought it on cheap. It was on offer on Microsoft Store not long ago, so I just bought it. I probably not even really played it properly, but I just wanted a copy on my Xbox One. So when I played Dragon's Dogma, I always remember thinking at the time, like, I kind of feel like I want to play a game like this, and I didn't really know what other games there were like it. And Dark Souls kept coming up, and I even heard it referred to as like an easy man's Dark Souls, which is like now is actually like so wrong in so many ways, but they do kind of lend themselves to a similar kind of fantasy setting, kind of, in a way. Dark Souls is considered a very difficult game. Before I go further, I want to ask you, Chris, what is your perception of the Dark Souls series? Warts and all, as they say.
Oh no, what go back a sec. What was that? Something like a Kindle e-reader for Dark Souls?
This Kindle e-reader feature is like Dark Souls. No, really. That's called clickbait, son. And I won't get sucked into it, yeah?
Like, it definitely is clickbait, but I want to know how a Kindle is like a... All right, anyway. It's like a gritty, dark RPG, which is very... I don't know. I just feel like this is a contradiction in itself, but it feels like an on-rails RPG which you can explore. Like, I feel like there's no story to it. You're just running around in a dungeon, dying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. I think that's everyone's perception of what Dark Souls is.
Yeah, but the real question is it fair?
The game is 100% fair. Yeah.
No. The question is that perception a fair perception of the game?
Interesting question, because what has the game done to change your perception of that? I think, if anything, the game revels in this masochistic style. I was looking at Neo 2, which is like considered a Souls-like. I don't even like the term.
Is that the NIOH spelling?
Yeah. And that is considered a Souls-like. And I don't like the term Souls-like. And I get into that in a moment. It's not I don't like the term, but I don't think it's suitable. And I get into that in a moment. But Neo is considered a Souls-like. And it's not. And I'll tell you why. Right. So basically, I go back on myself a little bit. The game hasn't really done... The game revels in its difficulty. So when I was looking at Neo, it described itself as a masocore game, which I presume is play on words for masochistic kind of hardcore. In the sense that, like, oh, you know, if you're going to play this game, get prepared to die, which is the tagline. Prepared to die over and over. It's really difficult, and it's for the hardcore. And a very famous phrase is like, you know, you go on forums. I could probably look at a forum now, type in, how can I do this on Dark Souls? And I guarantee one of the responses will be, get good. GITGUD.
Yeah,
Get good.
I've seen
Everyone's
that.
like, get good. That's the culture of this game. The culture of this game is you're a badass if you're good at this game. If you go through this game and you can like not have no fear, you're a badass. And you know, you're a hardcore gamer. You know what I mean? And that in itself is kind of like toxic because it turns a lot of people off. But they don't give a shit because Dark Souls is considered kind of a niche game, and it's, you know, it's fucking popular.
Although it doesn't do anything to me to make me want to play that game, having that kind of community and almost game developers, like you say, they revel in their reputation. It garners a bit of respect because
Yeah.
then you get other games which just pander to everyone and turn out shit and nobody wants to play them. And it's the opposite of that. It's the antithesis of all inclusive. It's we know who we are, we know who like us, we're going to do things to cater to them and do them very well.
Yeah,
Fuck the rest.
You and I think you've nailed it to a certain degree, right? Because what this game does is exactly, I was thinking along similar lines when I was thinking about what I was going to say and how I was going to talk about this. It really doesn't fucking pander to you, man. And if anything, it now panders to the other side of that.
Yeah.
Like totally, like Dark Souls 3 starts off. Now I bought 2 Dark Souls games for my mate. I bought Dark Souls 2 and Dark Souls 1, and both times you could never get into it. And the real thing was, on the third game, he just couldn't get past the first boss. He just couldn't get past it. I got
Is that like the tutorial boss?
You could call it that. You could call that. He couldn't get past it. I had to go to his house in the end and do it for him. And then he got to the next level and he just gave up straight away. His heart wasn't in it. But the thing is, what this game does is it fucking psychs you out. The whole point of this game is it is trying to psych you out. Now, before I go further on that point, I just want to address something. You mentioned a linear game which you're able to explore, and you're not wrong per se, but I don't think, like, there's linear as far as progression goes, but something which I fucking love about this and Dragon's Dogma, the way it's all about a loop. It's all about a circle of life or death, if you will. It's a circle. It's very symbolic, extremely. So when you say linear that you can explore, it's probably very fucking apt. But when I think linear, I think of that as like a negative term. This is in no way, shape, or form a negative. Like this is, you can go. You really have to kind of play through to see what I mean in that aspect. But in short, it's not. You are right in that, but you are not necessarily on the money. And I think what you imagine as linear exploration might not be quite what it is.
What I see it as is a case of, if you wanted to play Dark Souls and just go straight to the boss, straight to the next boss, straight to the next boss, you could. Or you could go out and kill other people for experience and go off on the different branches if you wanted to.
Initially, I'd say no, because the way the game is presented to you, you would just kind of go as the game kind of lets you. But if you go and watch speed runs and you go and watch some people on this game, this is like the kind of game you can break. You know, the game, it's you the community versus this game, but it's also the community versus the community. And this game is fucking ripe and designed as much for people who want to progress and get strong as it is for the people that don't want to let other people progress and get strong. It is designed for fucking trolls. There are covenants within this game that you earn rewards, experience, and strength through interfering with other people's games and fucking them over. Like, there's weird things that, like, you don't even know if it's by design or not, right? So, for example, when you're walking around in Dark Souls, you can see flashes of other people. So you're in your world, I'm in my world. You live in, say, Russia, I'm in America. We're all playing on the same servers, say. And you're running through your part of the map, and I'm running through my part of the map. And just, like, I don't know how familiar you are with string theory, but imagine different parallel dimensions all kind of interweaving like waves, and like coming in and out of each other. So what you effectively see are the ghosts or the spirits or the shadows, however you want to look at it, of other people playing their game. And I can put a message down and you can join me, and or you can put a message down and I can join you. We can leave messages for each other. Oh, I just found a secret invisible bridge. Like, put a little thing on the floor which says, try walking ahead. You know, I haven't found a bridge, but I'm going to write that anyway. People kill themselves. If people like or dislike your post, you are then you're rewarded for it in real time, and you'll get some health. I've been in the middle of a boss, all of a sudden, boom, I've just got some health because I've left a message. Leave as many messages as you want. There's no limit on it. Like, plaster the entire game space with messages just as like a bonus backup. It's like it's so bizarre like that. Like I told you the other day, I was playing and all of a sudden I get transported into another thing and I'm fighting another human, and I realize that every time he hits me, the boss's bar goes down at the bottom, and I'm the fucking boss. I'm the boss. You know, like I've jumped through so many levels.
I know there are many times that we have conversations where I'm not fully paying attention to you. I don't remember that conversation.
So I'll come back to that because that's like I've jumped from like level 1 to like level 10 in the span of a paragraph. But Dark Souls is very much about this community, and I played through Dark Souls 1, and like I couldn't tell you what the fucking story was. You know, a lot of people spoke in ye old terms, very kind of ye old English, and like alluded to things, and everything seemed mystical and everything had a description. I didn't even know what the fuck was going on. And I kind of finished it through guides and through some other stuff. And I kind of got to the end and was just like, what the fuck? What the fuck's happening? But no, carry on actually.
That is what my experience was with Monster Hunter, except I feel like they're very similar. Like, the story is secondary to the gameplay. I played through the whole of Monster Hunter. I completed Monster Hunter. The cliff notes are some people traveled to a new world, fought the Godzilla-esque monster who then fucked off and died. That's all I really cared about. In fact, that's a lie. That's all I was aware about. I didn't give a shit because I enjoyed the gameplay. I feel like Dark Souls is another one of those games where the story is less than secondary to the gameplay itself, and in this case, the environment, the community.
So I would like, after my first ever playthrough of Dark Souls, got to the end and be like, yeah, that's exactly what it is, Chris. And then I found out a chap called Wandavision, who is like a saint of Dark Souls in the community. As far as this guy has a channel on YouTube, he's got over 1 million subscribers, I think. He's he's like,
what was that name?
It's Wandavision, like BAATIVIDYA. Wandavision.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. Look, first one comes up. Wandavision.
No, Vati. I think you're saying Batty.
No,
Batty boy, Batty boy. There's a little Ali G reference.
As you can see, this chap is synonymous with Dark Souls because the first thing that comes up is Dark Souls 2 answered. And you can go on his YouTube. He's all about Dark Souls. The guy is pure Dark Souls, right? So
I know this is called the pot called the kettle black, but he looks like a massive nerd.
Wow. He's a Dark Souls aficionado, so you know we're all nerds here. He is kind of like one of the biggest authority figures on Dark Souls, and if you go into watch him tell you a story, I've even seen comments which say like, "Oh, I just walked down this alley and found an axe and thought, sweet," and he will do like a 20-minute video on this alley and how it fucking came to be and what and as soon as you start opening your eyes, right, to all the stuff that he starts talking about, you realize that not only is the story like primary, not only is the story like super important, but everything you do is shaping the very fucking story, and you are dripping in story. It is so like ridiculously next level meta. Like, this game is one of the smartest games I have ever come across, as far as like, you think about some of the stuff we can do in Monster Hunter with our decorations and building your stats to fight certain monsters, and how I can just go in against like the effluvia fucking dragon, and I could be like null to it, and then you can have your earplugs and like not get shot by the roars. Well, like in Dark Souls, there's no ceiling to your strength. If you play long enough, you can get everything up to 9. You know what I mean? And you are effectively like a god in this game, right? Like, like there's not really any spoilers because I couldn't tell you the in-depth story like the same way that Wandavision could. But like when I talk about this loop, like I've gone through the game 3 times officially, and still going round. And the thing is, one of my friends who I played it with, we went through it together. So there's like 2 sections you have to do by yourself. One's the opening kind of training mission, like area, and then from then on you're free to have people to join and co-op everything. There's like one other section just between sections that you're forced to do by yourself, like deeper into the game. So we did everything together. So every time I did a boss, we stopped, jumped back into his world, did a boss again, moved to the next section, and just did that. So every time we went through it once, it was basically like we'd gone through it twice. And I did that 3 times in total. So I've gone through the game like technically about 6 times. It's Dark Souls 3. And the whole time I'm getting stronger. And because there's like new game plus and things, the world gets stronger. Certain Dark Souls have certain gimmicks. Like in Dark Souls 2, you could increase the level of each level before you even completed it by doing, I can't remember what you did. You put something in the bonfire. And I remember there was one item we were trying to farm. So we effectively sacrificed this zone. We turned it up to like level 11 or 12 or whatever the limit was to it not getting any more difficult before we'd even completed it once. So every time we went through that section, it was like ridiculously next level, like difficult as fuck. But the thing is, like, this game, some people say artificial difficulty, artificial difficulty. You know, you might be walking down a chasm and all of a sudden something smashes you off and you're dead. It's like, well, how would I have known if that was coming? And I say, just always assume that is coming. Like, assume every second that something's behind you and going to kill you. Like the game, if you treat the game like that, then like if you respect that world, then you can make your way. And the thing is, like, as you go through, you go from being a little cowering bitch in a dungeon to becoming like something else. My very first experience in Dark Souls with like going into someone else's world is one of my favorite moments in Dark Souls ever. I discovered that with this cracked red eye orb, if I did something, I could break into somebody else's world. I could invade their world and I could like kill them and like troll them. So I'm just like, fuck yeah. Like, I'm all about that. At the time, I was like, that was Grand Theft Auto. Well, I don't know if it was near Grand Theft Auto 4, but Grand Theft Auto 4, that was my thing, man. I was like a griefer, as they say, but there's nothing else to do on that game. So when I
that game lacks.
there was fucking nothing to do. So it's like it was always deathmatch in my mind. So when I got the chance to go into someone else's game, I'm just like, shit, yeah, like let's get some of this. I've gone to crack the eye or whatever. I've gone into the world, and they are alerted. I don't think I even knew they were alerted, but they were alerted. Like someone has invaded your world, and I'm going down this kind of dark thing, as everything is, you know, and I'm like ready to kill them, just in my shitty armor, my shitty sword. I'm gonna get the drop on this guy, and I've just like heard a thud and another thud, and this guy has just walked across profile. This fucking knight beat up to the fucking the nines, right? The sword bigger than my eyesight, on fire like the sun. He just looks at me, one swing, boom, I was gone. I was like back into my own world. And it was just like, what the fuck was that? I didn't invade somebody else's world for weeks because I was like, they're gods. I was like, they're all gods. So like the way the game positions itself, it's like, you know, it trolled me as the troll, you know, as a new player, like invade other people's worlds and fuck them over. Like, haha, okay, go into someone else's world. And it's just, they got the drop on me. There's things you can do in that sense. If I go into somebody else's world, none of the enemies will attack me. So you can like leave yourself open. Like, so you come into my world, let's say you invade my world, none of the enemies can attack you, and you can start trying to like lure me into the thing and like gank me, as is the term in Dark Souls, gank them. So as you're doing that, there's counters to that. You've got like a tree sap or a tree thing, I can't remember what it's called. You break that, and all the enemies will turn on the enemy as well, and they will see them as another person to kill. So there's been people that think like, yeah, I've got the drop and you've lured you to the boss, blah blah blah, crack the thing, boom, and it's like, oh shit. There's everything I'm talking about at the moment as well, tip of the iceberg, because I mentioned about the world feeding into other people's worlds and like seeing these ghost forms of other people. Well, if I have a certain ring, it makes me like more camouflaged, but not so camouflaged that I would look like a ghost. But if I go in as a spirit and I use the spirit ring to make me look like a white spirit, like a non-invading spirit, but like a friendly, that combined with this certain ring makes you look exactly like the ghost. Now, I don't know if that was by design, but that's what happens. So you invade somebody's world and they know they've been invaded, don't get me wrong, but you are nigh on invisible. And if they see you, you literally look like something that they see frequently. And it's like a full on trial. The game, like, they're not going to fix it because it's not broken, because you're using mechanics and weird magic inside this game to create these effects. And the whole game is about these weird game breaking discoveries. The things you can find. I saw Wandavision do a video the other day on Demon Souls about how you can get like super OP quick. And the measures he takes to do this thing are like crazy, but it's perfectly legit within the game. And it like beefs you up like crazy. And like, this game is all about discovery and how you can manipulate things around you to fuck people over. Like, you can turn yourself into like a piece of scenery. So if somebody invades me, usually my first spell is boom, I'm just going to become a part of the scenery, and you can just get the drop on there. There's so many crazy things, and the thing is, I put so much time into Dark Souls 3 that I've got access to like everything. So if you did jump on, I could like just lead the way. And the thing is, I'm conscious of time because I've spoken a lot about Dark Souls, so I'm not going to go on too much longer because I have literally just scratched the surface. I don't even know where else to go. I've not even talked about bosses, weapons, the way it plays. I've just talked about the concept of the game. But this game is like, even now, it's like one of my most exciting games to play. Going into this, especially with someone new, is like one of my most fun games ever. My favorite moments in games have been on Dark Souls games. They are like probably my top 3 games of all time. I fucking love Dark Souls. I probably put this ahead of Monster Hunter as much as I love Monster Hunter as well. It's so fucking great. But yeah, that's my Dark Souls introduction presentation. Because there's so much more. I've not even scratched the surface, or I've only scratched the surface.
I don't, it doesn't, like, some of those things do sound interesting. It just, what's the point?
The point is, well, what's the point in anything really? Because
I know that's a very valid argument, but the point in other things is my enjoyment.
Yeah,
I don't look at that game as something I'm going to relish and enjoy.
I think as a one player, I think you would not enjoy this game. I do not think you'd enjoy this game going through this all by yourself. But I think with my fucking shining light guiding the way, I genuinely think you'd have a lot of fun, and it would be akin to Monster Hunter. Like, it would be. I would compare this to kind of the things you play Monster Hunter. But what I think would actually draw you in after the initial introduction is all of the things beneath the surface, what you see, and then what that thing turns out to be. The armor you can unlock, like, oh, I've just got the soul of this creature, and then you realize you can make like 2 weapons out of this soul. And like, what's this gonna give me? Oh, I've just got this power that totally manipulates this thing. Oh, like, what else can I break? You know what I mean?
Those kind of, not even concepts, those game manipulations, that I didn't, it's not something I was aware I wanted, but those kind of game mechanics are something I would love to see in the upcoming Harry Potter game, where like you could hit something with 2 different spells and it just has this completely unexpected effect. Where things just, where it makes the world feel real. Like the programmers haven't programmed in this specific thing to happen, but this thing just happens to happen due to other influences.
Yeah, I fucking love that. I fucking love that, and I won't talk about it today because I think I'm gonna hand this over to you in a second. But the one thing I was going to talk about today, but I'll probably talk about it next week because I would have finished it by then anyway, is an anime I started watching, and I can't remember the exact title, but it's basically translated as I don't want to get hurt, so I put all my stats into vitality. That's what it's called. And I've been watching it, and it's fucking amazing. And anyone who's played Dark Souls or Monster Hunter, or maybe a bit of Final Fantasy 14, mainly Monster Hunter and Dark Souls though, will really get this anime and what this girl does. And she's like consistently, like, because of the way her playful mind, right? She's like somebody who doesn't play games, gets into the games. Her playful mind, it's like, does things that people wouldn't usually do, and just ends up breaking the game and effectively becoming like this fucking god in the game, because she does things that nobody else does, and like finds weird manipulations by, you know, she rides around on a flying tortoise, like turtle, because of like things that she's unlocked, used with other things, combined and made. It's just crazy. It's crazy, and I love it. I love it. But that is very much akin to this. So yeah, when it comes to game breaking, because I've not even touched on the combat, man. I've not even touched on like the combat, which is like a whole other thing in itself. And because I don't think it's about that. I think it really is about, it's about this crazy exploration, like you say, about making it, makes the world feel tangible. It makes the world feel like you are affected by
You
this
have an
world.
effect on it.
Yes, you have an effect on it, and it has an effect on you, and it combines. So you talk about in Red Dead and other games feeling like the world is living and you can be a part of that world. Well, this is like different. This is like feeling like there are mechanics and systems and physics within this world that you can kind of buy into. And you know, if you want to just be like this absolute sword master, you can do that. If you want to be like an elemental fuckery guy, if you want to be like a weird wizard, you know, who just just fucks with people, like, you can be all these things. Like, for instance, my character, because I've abused, you could say, or made the most of something called hollowing. There's a certain thing you do, and it's kind of like a dark path in this world. If you every time if you go down this path, you can like unlock your true power. But every time you die while doing that, you become a little bit more undead looking, and but it makes you stronger. So I'm like level like 50 or maybe even higher than that hollowing, right? I think I'm like level 300, something like that. But the hollowing is like 50, which is like fat. Like if I was just like, if you were just like a level 50 standard, you can have builds that just stay lower level. But I'm all about the power, so I just want to get strong as fuck. So like I'm like level 50 hollowing or something, and my character looks like fucking like he's like 1,000 years old or something. But because I use a certain ring, it makes me look youthful and young. And like, because I'm so like, I'm all about vanity in these games, you know, I would never take that ring off. Like that ring's always on because I never want to look old. But my character is like decrepit, but like he looks badass either way. But I like him looking all like youthful and like a prince. He's fucking cool. I love my character.
There's a scene in Star Wars Rebels where the Emperor is talking to Ezra Bridger, and he's got his like episode 3 look on him.
Yeah.
I think it's a hologram, but then after Ezra shows it down, he's just like, well, fuck that shit. It sounds exactly like that.
That's pretty funny. Mate,
it's like,
I like that. I think I've seen
I'm a sweet little old man. I'll eat your children's feet.
I think I've
Oh,
seen
what a nice day it is. Your wife is in my back garden.
So that is my pitch on Dark Souls. Ruminate on it for a while. I did want to talk about a couple of animes, but I think I've taken up all the time we're taking up talking about Dark Souls, to be fair.
Ruminate's the word.
It is.
Huh.
I'm not even going to try and spell it. I'll probably spell it wrong. I looked it up in the interim. So, Dark Souls. That was Dark Souls. Any final thoughts on Dark Souls? I've got a million.
They're not even close to your final thought yet. If it was on Game Pass, I'd probably download it, but I don't think it's something I'm going to be putting any real effort into.
Okay, well, we'll have to revisit it, and I'm not giving up yet, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with it. Moving on, Wandavision. Let's talk Wandavision.
Let's not. Let's just do one little. Let's keep it in the gaming sector just for few more minutes. Because I've recently, after completing Hitman, I fucking picked it up again.
Yeah.
And so I've gone through. I played the first 5, the 6 missions. I played the first 5 of Hitman 3, and then I went back and played 1 through 3 and completed it all. And it's a good game. Story. I've already played the first 2, but I don't remember there ever being a story. And now there's all these cutscenes and shit, which I just must have missed. Story's actually quite compelling, you know, but again, like Monster Hunter, like Dark Souls, you don't play it for the story, you play it for the gameplay. Like the story is definitely secondary to the missions and environments. But the reason I'm really enjoying Hitman at the moment is because I'm just killing everyone. Like, literally everyone, and it's fucking great because you can kind of feel like a serial killer. Like, have you seen the video I sent you earlier on?
I haven't actually watched that video yet. I've seen some of your crazy vids.
Basically, I went into a bank and I killed everyone because it was fun. I killed everybody except the one person I was meant to kill. I then knocked that person out, dragged them to the center of the bank foyer, dragged all of the dead bodies from the foyer, and it was probably about 30. You got to drag them all individually. It took me ages. I then dropped guns and gold bars and scissors and knives on top of this pile of dead bodies and my target, a letter bomb, which I happened to find in a bank vault, and a propane tank. And I pulled the trigger. And you just see these bodies just go,
Okay,
and just start dropping everywhere. And it's just fucking good. It's just really fun to just think, screw it. Because there are so many ways to kill people. You've got executions, you've got simple fiber wire, you've got shuriken throwing stars, which is just great fun, like film. And in certain levels, you get battle axes and swords, and you just feel really, really powerful just strolling around with all. Because but the way I'm playing it is, you go in, you take out as many of the security forces as you can, because then it's just the civilians and they can't do shit to you. So that's
a few hero civilians.
Nothing. They're all just scared.
That would.
So you just wander around, just no consequences. Just pick your weapon, pick your execution style, and just go for it. I did one earlier. I think it's on Hitman 2 called the Isle of Segal or Segale, I'm not sure. But anyway, I came out into this courtyard and it was just like hundreds of people. So just whip out the katana and just press X and you're just there slashing away. And then there's just dead bodies. And it's just fucking funny. It's a way of playing a game I've never done before. And it's just, it's adding a lot more replayability to some of these levels.
This is why I'm surprised you never liked Fallout, because that's the kind of thing you can do in Fallout.
Except
get creative.
There are consequences in Fallout.
Of course.
In Hitman, there are none.
That's true.
Although there's an overarching story, the levels are just all individual levels. You could just go in there as a random hitman with just the objective to kill these people, and you could, in theory, just have them as different levels with no interconnected story. But there is. But yeah, it's just very, how would you describe it? Yeah, there's no consequences. You're just free to do whatever you want and play it in the best way possible, which so far.
Oh, Chris, you've frozen. I wonder if I've frozen. Bear with it. Oh no. Chris,
happy you're playing it.
Did I freeze then, Chris?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, you froze for a second, and then I just got a thing saying your internet connection is unstable. And I think it's because I'm sharing a virtual background and sharing my screen at the same time.
I've been having a few issues with my Zoom, with me freezing the last couple of days, but I can't even see me now, so I don't know.
Oh well, it's good. You're coming through my end, and that's the main thing, because that's where we're recording. But I lost you for a split second. But no, Hitman's awesome, man. Like I've been into Hitman. I got to admit, I wasn't really into Hitman 2 and 3 this time round. Hitman, the first Hitman game that came out, I think we mentioned this previously, when they went episodic, they threw me off because I was kind of like,
oh god, yeah, I'm not a fan of episodic games.
Neither am I. So I was like, I'll wait for all of it. And then when it was all out, I was like, is that all of it? And then Hitman 2 was out. So I was like, I guess that was all of it.
Yeah, they're not.
It's confused me.
They're not big games, but there's replayability in them.
Well, I played a shitload of whatever Hitman came before this new reboot.
Absolution?
I think it might have been Absolution. But I played a lot of that. And then I had like a pack of all the old games. At one point, it just like there was a pack of all of them. So I had all of them. Of course, like when you go back to like 2, it's dated now, like a lot. But then I loved a lot of these games. Blood Money. For some reason, Blood Money is a name that sticks out in my head. Is that a Hitman game?
Yeah, there's the ones that have titles. I know of Hitman Contracts, Hitman Blood Money. That's it. There might be an original just Hitman, but I don't know. I only picked it up at Absolution.
What some of the old ones did was they would use films. They would get film-inspired levels. And I couldn't tell you exactly how many films they did, but the last mission to, I want to say, Contracts, it was kind of an older one, was a complete take on the film Leon, which I mentioned to you before, which I'm positive you have not seen.
I'm positive we've not had this conversation again.
I'm pretty sure the last time I brought up the film Leon, look, Leon the Hitman.
We have never discussed this film. So like, even if I'm not paying attention to you, that is something I would remember.
We definitely. I've mentioned this film to you. The fact that you're playing. Put it this way, Chris. The fact that you've been playing Hitman for a little while, and my name is Leon. You think I wouldn't have brought this film up at least once? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's, like I say, I know I switch off you sometimes, but that is something that would switch my brain back on, hearing Leon the Hitman.
So, have you ever heard of this film?
No.
This film is fucking amazing, right?
Is that Natalie Portman on the title?
That is Natalie Portman. That is a very young Natalie Portman. This film is fucking awesome, okay?
That top left picture reminds me of one of the Gallaghers, probably both of them, to be honest.
This guy is cooler than both Gallaghers put together. But the thing is,
that's not hard.
It's a dodgy film in that, like, it's Luc Besson, same mind behind Fifth Element. It's a controversial storyline. This is effectively a fucking love story, right?
Yeah, so, I was getting that impression. There was something like looking at it, thinking that something feels a bit off here.
It's very awkward watch. It's very fucking awkward. But this film is seminal, man. What a good film. Gary Oldman is on fire in this movie. There are
is that Gary Oldman?
Gary Oldman is in this film. No, this is fucking, what's his name? My God, that pisses me off. Jean Reno. This is Jean Reno. That's Natalie Portman. You may not have heard of him by name, but you've 100% seen him in films. He's been going around. But Gary Oldman is effectively the bad guy in this film, and yeah, it's good, man. I highly advise it. The end scene to this film is pretty full on, and one of the last missions in one of the Hitman games was based directly on the last scene from this film. Hitman also takes other scenes from other films. So as you play through Hitman games, you're like, oh my God, I'm playing this fucking film. And it's fantastic. I love it as well. It's Rainbow Six did it on an early game. Do you ever hear of the film called The Rock?
No.
Oh my!
I've heard of The Rock.
The Rock. Yeah, there's a lot of films you need to see. Yeah, this film. So you've ever heard of this film?
No, but that is who is that? That is Sean Connery and Nicolas Cage.
Nick Cage is so fucking great. He's always great, but Nick Cage is very good in this film. And you've got Ed Harris.
Don't know him.
The other guy, Ed Harris. Again, you might not know him by name, but you've definitely seen Ed Harris around. Yeah, really, really, really good film. It's old and it's a classic. It's like classic Hollywood, like cheesy, but back when like cheesy was kind of not so overdone that it was like cliche almost. But that's kind of Nick Cage's thing, isn't it? Like when he does films, they are kind of cliche, but that's kind of like his bag. I think Nick Cage just does a lot of. I'm a big fan of Nick Cage. I've not seen
a big body of his work, but what I have seen, I do enjoy.
This is it. Like, if you like Nick Cage in anything, it's hard not to like him in anything that he does.
There's just something about his face which just is quite welcoming.
And he's very funny. He's got very funny. Like he basically
dry wit.
Yeah, he kind of plays this kind of desk CIA guy. You know, he's got to get out behind his desk and do a real mission kind of thing. And this Sean Connery's like this convict. He's like super dangerous, and they need him for whatever reason. And Nick Cage trying to play a tough guy on him. And what he does so well is play a guy trying to be tough really well, right? So there's a bit where he's got his gun on him, and like Sean Connery's just like, fuck off, you know, I'm doing what I want. And he's just like, you will not. And like that's his hard line, you know, like you will not. Like you know, that's it. He is stupendous in this movie. If I'm gonna recommend this or Leon, as far as film quality and what's good and classic goes, Leon is a better film.
Honestly, there's a
Rock's more
50-50.
enjoyable.
There's a 50-50 chance I've watched them both before we record the next one.
Well, yeah, I hope you have, because they're both fucking good films, man. Yeah, so that's that. So I mean,
I feel like we could have an entire hour conversation on just random films.
Oh, mate, yeah, maybe that's what we'll bring to the table next time. We just see what films lead into other films, and we talk into them, because I don't watch many films anymore, really. I think a lot of films that come out now are they just seem like whatever, you know. I don't think like a lot of the films seem.
What's that phrase? We get people in a room and they all give you suggestions.
Focus groups. They're all.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, they're all. Yeah, say what you were going to say. I like where that was.
No, that's it. Like lots of films these days, you could probably pinpoint focus group centric things, i.e., the entire Star Wars last three.
For me, it was when Force Awakens came out, and I was just like, this is just the state of films at this moment in time. Like, don't get me wrong, I still think there are just as many good films coming out as there ever has been, but I also think it's easier to make movies than it ever has been, and I think it's easier to get your movie out there. So what we are saturated in crap, and it's just a lot harder to find the really good ones. And it really pisses me off investing like a half an hour of my evening into something only to realize like actually this is pretty shit, and just feel like I've wasted like a bit of my night.
I'd be a shit film critic because there are very few films, if any, I can just not want to watch halfway through watching. I don't know why. But I just can't think of any films that I thought were shit. So I'd make a shit film critic.
Well, I mean, I would always say if the film's got your attention enough to finish the film, then you're going in with some expectation, which is being kind of validated. Like, I mean, I'm not going to go and watch like a full-blown period drama romance and then get you know, I get half an hour into it. Hang on a minute. I thought that there was going to be some action, you know. Like,
I suppose that's the thing. Like, I know what I like, so I'm not going to go like watch something that's obviously not going to be what I want. You ever see the Angel Has Fallen and the trilogy of those films? Gerard Butler.
No, I don't. I can't stand Gerard Butler films for whatever reason.
Olympus is fallen. London is fallen.
I thought Titus or something. Titan or Titus.
Something. Anyway. They're big action films, and I'm not a massive fan of like explosions and guns and big spots, so I wasn't interested. But my friend does like those kind of films, and the third one was coming out, so I went back and watched the first two, and I was pleasantly surprised that
I've heard they're good.
I liked them. So what's your issue with Gerard Butler?
I don't. I've
only seen him in 4 films, the 3 films and the film called Gamer. So
you never watched Spartacus 300?
I was having a conversation, I think, with Femi. I don't think it was you. I think it was Femi. That I have no idea who Spartacus is. He was talking about some Roman guy, and I was like, is that the guy from 300? And he spent 20 minutes taking the piss out of me because they were clearly different people.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I've not seen
I meant Sparta. This is Sparta that I'm thinking of. Spartacus is someone else. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, but no. You're not missing much. You're not missing much. At the time, it was like, oh, I've never seen a film like this before. But every like 2 seconds is like slow mo. It's I mean, it's based on a graphic novel that's like by Frank Miller.
Oh yeah.
So
who directed it? Someone. I'm thinking. Maybe Whedon or Snyder. It's someone.
Snyder. I think it was Zack Snyder.
It's someone I'm aware of, and in the world of directors, that's a very small group.
I feel like it was Zack Snyder. I'm pretty sure it was Zack Snyder.
I'm just going to quickly Google this.
It's not that great, though. I mean, it is what it is. But nah, whatever. So I don't know how long we've been going. I feel like we've been going about an hour.
We're on 47.
Okay.
48. I might have paused it, but I can't tell you for how long. It might have been for a second. It might have been a bit longer. But fuck it, let's go.
We have to talk about WandaVision, and I have to hand over to you because you like. All I will say before I do hand over to you, WandaVision. We had a big.
It was Zack Snyder.
Yeah, we had a big reveal. We had a big thing, and you gone on. You were hitting me up on Messenger. Oh my god, I can't believe this. Oh my god, this is crazy. You're not, this is next level. So I watched the episode. I enjoyed the episode for a number of reasons. I think that they are taking the direction and what they're doing, with merging the different types of sitcom comedy with US drama, having these moments which dip in and out of these realities, and then having a studio audience react to something that a US drama non-audience is also reacting to, and that kind of whatever you want to call it is just fucking clever, and I loved it. And I think is it Paul Bettany, isn't it? I think Paul Bettany was on fire. Just acting was just subtle, good shit. I don't know the name of Wanda, but I think she was on fire. I think
Elizabeth Olsen.
I think the acting was really fucking good. So I loved all of that, and I wasn't expecting to be saying those things about this show at all. Genuinely really liked that episode. But then when we had the thing at the end, and I'm thinking, here it comes, and then the credits hit, I'm like, maybe it's after the credits, and then it finished. And I was like, what did I miss? And I hand over to you.
Well, nobody, it seems, was as taken aback by this as I was. I seem to be the only person that feels this could be something big.
I know one other person who reacted on a similar level as you, so I know it's big.
Oh, good. Well, it could be big. That's the thing. There are obviously, if people don't know, you've got two Quicksilvers on the screen. Quicksilver is the brother of Wanda in the Marvel comics. The one on the right is the brother from the MCU who got shot to shit back in Sokovia. Oh, more news I'll do after this, actually. The one on the left is from the X-Men films, which is a completely different, separate entity. You've got the MCU films, and then you've got the X-Men films. They are separate. Now, it would appear having this guy from that world is bridging them, but there's no relevant confirmation that's true, except logic. Because it's either this is him from the X-Men universe, and this is the first of many crossovers, because we do know there are several characters from non-MCU universes coming into MCU films. I don't know if you've seen all the Spider-Man 3 rumors and confirmations.
I have not.
Do you want to know?
Yes.
Spoiler territory. Well, the Amazing Spider-Man 3, the Amazing Spider-Man 2 had Electro as the villain.
Was that Jamie Foxx?
Yes. Confirmed he's in Spider-Man 3 in the MCU.
Okay.
Dr. Octopus from Spider-Man 2. Melina, I don't know what his name is. He is confirmed to be in Spider-Man 3 in the MCU. So there are confirmations of non-MCU universe characters coming into it. The other explanation is the guy on the right didn't want to come back, so they just recast him. But to recast him as somebody found no as the other guy would just be a massive mistake. So although there's been meta conversations, which is a word I don't think most people are going to understand,
viewers of this show will. Viewers of this show will know what meta means by now.
I mean, hopefully. So meta, it could just be that this is fan service, but in all logic, it's the first on-screen confirmation, or at least suggestion, that there is going to be this weird overlapping of different worlds, which I fucking love. It's been expected for years, but I got very excited when I saw this.
It's classic. It's classic Heat. Good booking.
Now they have no idea what the fuck we're talking
It's
about.
what AEW and TNA are doing at the moment. It's that whole cross-branding.
Yes.
It's people like, oh, the walls are invading. The walls are breaking down. This is so good. It's good shit.
It's a really good way of, I mean, for wrestling companies, for drawing new audience members, and for the MCU, it's a good way of keeping things fresh, because a lot of the X-Men films, barring Wolverine and Hugh Jackman, weren't massive. They were big budget, they made money, but they weren't high quality stories. And this Quicksilver character was one of the few exceptions to the latter X-Men films, which is probably why they've nicked him.
The final moments of this episode were fucking brilliant, right? So the uninformed, she has this pause, she opens the door, who could this be? It's pretty obvious the way they're talking and what they were saying, it's pretty obvious that it's going to be her brother. So when she opens the door and you see this guy, in my memory, I genuinely do not remember this MCU one. I honest to God don't remember him. I feel like I've never seen him.
He's only in the one film, and obviously, the likes of myself, MCU hardcore, know who he is, but it's not a shock to see that people don't recognize who he is.
So when I saw this chap, my mind, right, if I'd seen this guy in it by himself, I would have told you he's from the X-Men films, and I would have remembered which X-Men films, right? However, because I have no recollection of this guy, and I see this guy, my mind's like, oh, he was from the MCU, and I don't remember any other one. So that's what my mind kind of did. So I kind of like played that down a little bit. So I was like, okay, he's back. And then I can't remember her name, but the girl who called it Hex, that character.
Darcy.
Yeah. She's watching, and she's in like real time, and she's like watching, like, oh, what's going on? Then you cut back to the studio guys, and they're having this big moment, and it's akin to any sitcom where they have this big emotional moment, and the crowd like, and the crowd start clapping, and it's like,
it's so fucking cheesy.
I was like, this is so good. Like, this works on so many levels. And then the moment that popped me big was like, to kind of bring us back down. He hit the last line of the show, which I just love, and we have to call this episode this, is who's the popsicle? And I just pissed myself. Like, what a line. Like, that's such a good line.
I even feel that you could say is not canon's not the right word, but that's a fair representation of what his character was kind of like in the X-Men films.
Yeah. This is it. Like,
just before he turns up, the hex warning goes off to say someone's entered the hex when Darcy's watching the sitcom. So it's there are so many theories from New Rockstars, but I think he's run through the hex in the sense that other people go through it and they get altered. Oh my God, more theories popping into my head.
Well, save those theories, but actually, no, here's the theories. It's perfect for that now because we've got the next episode coming out in just days.
So that's weird. Well, basically, the theories are that, well, it's not theory. When things go through that hex, they get taken from the real world and manipulated into the hex world. So, like you saw, the trousers were made of Kevlar because when the agent went in, she was wearing Kevlar, and the hex changed it. They didn't change the Kevlar; they just changed the appearance.
Yeah.
So there are theories that
he had like, it was kind of like layered armor. In a way.
There are theories that there was a speedster that just ran through and the hex turned him into somebody Wanda would recognize, even though it's a different body. There's theories that the Thanos snap that happened only, or the Iron Man snap happened only 3 weeks ago, has the gamma from the 4 snaps, because there was the original, the one to break them.
Didn't Hulk do a snap?
Oh, what?
Didn't Hulk do a snap?
Yeah, there was Thanos' first one to wipe, second one to destroy them, third one to bring them back, and the fourth one to kill Thanos' army. So there's theories that those 4 snaps could have altered the gamma in the world and created mutants. Or it could have ripped portals. There were slight possible references to the Fantastic Four. The other theory is that however this guy has got into our world, or the MCU's world, he's fast enough that he can run through the hex. And because he's so fast, the hex isn't able to alter his body, which I kind of like the most. Because he is meant to have,
I think that
he's meant to have like God's level speed. So that makes sense. Have you ever watched The Flash on TV?
No.
I like it. I like the show, but the dude is a fucking super speeder. He should be able to solve pretty much every episode's problem in about 4.5 seconds.
Yeah.
So there are so many theories that there always are. And it's like, as every episode happens, it's one of those really cliche statements of it asks more questions than it answers, which I fucking hate. I hate that phrase, but it's appropriate.
It is appropriate. Why do you hate that phrase?
I don't know, because I just feel like it's very overblown. Like any kind of, not even a mystery, but any kind of thing like this, which has theories. There are so many theories out there that no matter what is next officially, it will just breed more. So it's overused. It's an accurate statement. It's a fair statement, but I've heard it a lot in my life.
That's fair. That's fair.
Well, so yeah, I mean, what are we on now? Wednesday? So
we're on Wednesday now. We're filming late.
In 24 hours, I'll fucking have watched episode 6. I'm excited to see.
24 hours? Was it on Thursdays?
I in between 24. What's the middle of 24 and 36? In 30 hours, I'll have watched it. 9 a.m. Friday morning.
Okay. So
yeah, because obviously, if you haven't watched it, Vision is starting to realize that something's wrong, and this guy turning up from outside the world, who's a dead guy, but he's now got a different body. I feel like this next episode, things should be starting to unwind pretty rapidly. So we're into the final 4 episodes now. So yeah, I think there'll be this episode, and then the last 3 things are just going to spiral out of control.
I'm enjoying this so much more than I thought I would. I didn't think I would give a shit about the show, and I really, really like it a lot.
I would love to know the other news I mentioned a little bit ago. There's been a trailer for the Falcon and Winter Soldier, which begins 12th of March, I believe.
Yeah, man, I'm going to get on that as well. I'm going to get all that. I'm going to be MCU'd up this year. I'm going to be in the know.
That one's a generic superhero show. There's action, there's fighting, there's guns, there's shooting. The fuck comes up with the Wandavision concept?
That's why I like it, man.
And makes it good.
It's fucking good because we have no idea what's going to happen next, and we care what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
That's why it's so good.
I think one of the best achievements of the MCU is they're 24 films deep and a series, and there's been 2 misses. Not everyone loves every other film, but there's only 2 films which are generally disliked out of 24. And that's a hell of an achievement.
What ones are they? What ones are you thinking of?
Thor: The Dark World.
Which is what?
Because,
Thor?
Yeah,
I didn't like that.
Thor 2: The Dark World. It's just, and then Captain Marvel, which is divisive. Thor 2 is the only one pretty much nobody likes. Captain Marvel 2 is divisive. Captain Marvel is divisive, but most of the films have a might maybe put Iron Man 3 into that. But on the
I like
whole,
Iron Man 3. I think you can't
I
put
do too.
you can't put Iron Man 3 in that because Downey
Yes, you
Jr.
can.
as usual is on fucking fire in that movie. That movie's great. Like just put Downey Jr. on camera and it's great. And as Stark in Marvel Universe, no, that film was good.
I can see why some people didn't like it, and they did kind of kill the Mandarin character, but he is coming back, or at least no, he is coming back.
What, they killed him by making him out to just be like this like nobody guy?
Yeah, the Mandarin is like fucking Iron Man's version of the Green Goblin, or
So was
Batman's version of the Joker.
Okay, so that would piss me off if I was into the Mandarin.
It's one of his biggest enemies. I like the idea of switching things up, but they got that one wrong.
Yeah, well, so is that genuinely the real Mandarin, or is that a guy posing as the Mandarin?
That's the fake Mandarin.
Yeah, so it's not the real Mandarin.
No, the real Mandarin is slated to come in one of their upcoming films.
Yeah, so they didn't kill him at all. They didn't kill him.
Oh no, well, no, but in the not theoretical sense, but in you know what I mean.
Well, I remember the trailer bigged up that movie like the Mandarin was the bad guy of that film, and then when you watch the film, it's like completely not what the trailer given. But so what? Because I don't want trailers ruining films for me. So that was perfect.
Yeah, that's an issue.
I hate films. I don't watch trailers. If the trailer's got my interest in 30 seconds, I won't watch the rest.
Turn it off.
Because, yeah, they will spoil the whole film for you. Or they show you so much that like even if they don't spoil it, you know it's like, oh, this person's hanging off a cliff. But it's like, but I saw him on jet skis in the trailer and we haven't got there yet, so could be a flashback, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't.
Yeah. I did that. I did that to Simon once. I think it was a Hell in a Cell match, and I was like, "Oh yeah, this really cool thing happens." He goes, "Oh great, you spoiled it for me." I was like, "How the fuck have I spoiled it? I've mentioned one thing." He goes, "Yeah." So I know until that thing happens, nothing matters. Like,
yeah.
Okay, fair point.
Yeah. And it's also, even though I don't like the show at all, I think Big Bang Theory is pretty crap, if you ask me. However, right, I think it's poorly written and it's shit for so many reasons. But anyway, I won't go on a Big Bang Theory rant. There's one very funny thing that they do come up with some gems in that. They have come up with some gems. And there's a bit when they're in the store and Sheldon's there and one of the guys comes up to him like, "Oh, Sheldon, have you seen the new Iron Man? Mind blowing." And he's like, "Oh my God, spoiler alert." And he's like, "What do you mean? I just said it's mind blowing." He's like, "Now my mind's already blown." He's like, I'm going to go into it, my mind pre-blown. I can't unblow my mind. Like, you know what I mean? He's like, "You already spoiled it." It's like, that is such a good way of putting it. Like,
that's weird.
I love that. But yeah, so how long we've been? I think we can wrap it up now because we've been going a while.
Oh yeah, we're on an hour 6, maybe an hour 10.
I thought we're on even longer than that. So we'll do bets very quickly. And I had an idea just now. I
hope so, because the one we've been running is shit. And yeah, I won the bet last week, but we both lost. We had one view.
Well, we've got two now, and that second was probably me. Well, technically I won because I was closer because I said 10, you said 12.
Oh, okay then. Okay.
So I win. So now
no. We have one view. If you viewed it, we have no views.
Oh, maybe I viewed a different one then, because it was on one view when I checked it before the show. So I guess mine didn't count then. So we had one view. So thank you, one view. Thank you. Right. So let's make these stakes a little bit heavier.
It's a good job. Just talking's enjoyable, because otherwise this would be a fucking massive waste of time.
This is all practice for future podcasts and bigger podcasts. And when this podcast gets like, if anyone ever wants to go back,
you're cheating on me. You're using me as a stepping stone. That is unbelievable. Why don't you fuck off and talk to Batty Vidya?
Well, like I think I'd be able to step down for him. But here's the thing.
You think?
Here's the thing. Ultimately, at some point, someone's going to watch one of our episodes if they haven't already and think, "Oh, that was fun. Maybe I'll put another one on." And there's more. We've got a library. So we might get to episode 552, and someone's like, "Do you know what? Like that was good, and I want to go back and listen to all of them." So they will. So we've got this. Also, it's just good practice for us to not good practice. Sorry, it's good. Good practice is the one that I want to say. It's a good exercise to vent shit.
I enjoy it.
So I won, but I want to make these stakes heavier, like more.
Okay,
like,
just gonna point out that 552 weeks is 10 and a half years.
Yeah, but we might start doing them twice a week at some point.
I mean, we definitely could. We could probably do one a fucking night, to be honest.
Exactly. We might get on a roll at some point and be like, let's just do one every night. So that could be quicker than you think. So I won, but I don't know if we can incorporate this now because after the fact and because I have won. But what I want is like stakes. So like if you lose, if the winner gets to dictate a game that we should play in the week or something like that, and then we have to report on that
Not
game.
playing Dark Souls.
And that's what I want to do.
No.
We're going to come back to it. That's what I propose. I propose that
you got more chance of me saying yes if you actually fucking propose, Leon.
I might even buy the game for you, like I was saying earlier on. Then it's free.
I'm saying it's a bad idea.
It's always a bad idea. I bought Dark Souls 2 for somebody.
It's only the third time. Do you not learn from your mistakes?
No, I do not. I'm insane. I do the same thing over and over, and I hope for a different result. So that's what I propose. But I think now, because it was like I bought that in after I'd won a bet, I think from next week onwards, the winner of the bet proposes a game to play or a film to watch. And if the other person doesn't watch it within the time before the next recording, they have to do a forfeit. Which for me will probably always be playing the game or watching the thing.
Play Dark Souls, then do it. Forfeit. Play Dark Souls.
Yeah. So that's good, actually. I like that.
You've created a loophole to a problem you came up with.
So I feel like there's like a title like lose to win, or lose to win the forfeit, or forfeit to win, forfeit to lose to forfeit. Something in that. Can't think of it right now. Put your answers in the comments below for a perfect name for that segment.
We've run on an hour and 10 minutes, and you've just wasted 15 seconds going lose to win, win to lose, lose to win.
It's probably 5. It's probably 5. So anyway, you wasted more time talking about me saying that than me actually saying that, and now we've both wasted time. So my bets for next week. I'm gonna bet. Actually, no. Oh, you've already said it. So you say 2.
I don't know what we're betting. I'm swearing at you.
Oh, well, we're betting what we always bet. And that's how many views we're gonna have next week. So think of a number. I've got my number in my head. And also, I'm gonna say this. We've both got to say higher than. No, actually, no. Just say whatever number you want.
I got 5.
Okay. Well, I'm going to be positive. I feel like we can do well. I think like next week's going to be a good one. I don't know why. I just feel it. Next week, I'm saying 7.
You know what would help?
What?
For one, I'm pretty sure I didn't share out that last one.
Yeah, I don't think you did.
For 2,
I was going to share it when you shared it.
Oh, yeah, fucking convenient. Having done none of the previous 8, you were going to do the one I forgot to do.
Well, I will this time. So
that might help. You've probably got more reach than me, or at least people that care about your opinion more than people do about mine.
I highly doubt that. Nobody cares about anybody else online. Think anybody cares about anyone else's opinion online apart from their own? This is the internet in 2021.
There are some nice people in the world.
There are some nice people in the world. And to be fair, I've got some nice people on my social media. So I will share it. So that's that. So that was another episode of Default Tangent, episode 10. We made it 10 episode anniversary. I think
10 weeks ago. Fucking hell. Was that before Christmas? Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Might have been.
Yeah, it was because we had a break over Christmas when I went home.
And it's mad. And it's also because, like, yeah, it was, yeah. It's mad because we said for a while, like, we should do a podcast. And now we're 10 episodes into our podcast. So Good time.
Life comes at you fast.
Okay, so I'm gonna end the show. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. To end. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen, and then make sure I'm hovering over record. Stop record even, and then
I blend in so well with the chair. My fucking shape just fucking. It's just I can hide. If someone was behind me, they'd never know I was here.
It's perfect because you can do the turnaround. That's why you should get a cat. You should buy a cat. So you can turn around and be like, "I've been expecting you." Well, excuse the
I've
whole
been expecting you, Mr. C.
pal. That would be good for the podcast. That'd be good for an introduction to the podcast when you turn around. We're recording. I've been expecting you, Mr. Chappelle. get a teddy or fluffy animal.
But do it a little bit lower. No one will ever know.
Yeah, there we go. Method acting. Okay. So anyway, wave goodbye. We've gone on long enough. Wave goodbye to the folks at home. Wave goodbye. Yeah, there we go. That's what you have to bring to the party next time. There we go. Bye.